Hey guys, Tbull here. Today we're checking out a new Tier 7 premium battleship, Pan American, if you can believe that. And there's the commander build, Dewey de Janeiro. There's the ship, Atlantico. Alright, now we're going to go into what makes this ship special here in a moment. You guys have been hyping this one up. During the streams for the last month or so, 3-4 weeks, people keep saying, what's going on with the Atlantico? What do you know about it? I'm like, I don't know anything about it. You guys are like, okay, well, you're going to like this one. And I do think this ship itself is intriguing. Of course, the main drawback currently is the lack of the appropriate build. Okay, now at its core, the Atlantico is a secondary focus ship, right? If you're going to play the Atlantico, you might as well lean into what makes it unique, and that would be the super strong secondaries in terms of certainly caliber, but overall performance as well. 234 caliber on these secondaries. Okay, well, what does that compare to? Let's say, look at something like the Bismarck, the Hallmark standard bearer for secondary builds, 105 or 150 caliber on those secondaries compared to 234. So we got big time punching power. I want you guys to watch the hit markers and the damage values that they produce when we're within secondary range, which of course is going to be the main goal whenever we're within this thing. But big time, 1,000, 2,000, 2,500 type hit markers, that's going to be common with this thing. The balancing factor is the reload's 10 seconds on this compared to 2.3 on the smaller caliber guns of the Bismarck, the 105s, and 5.1 on the 150. So considerably slower reload, but the range, a little bit tough to analyze because right now on this build here, I got 10.8 range on these, and the Bismarck, for instance, 11.8. But the Bismarck has the option to put Porcupine on, which of course I do. Celiac slot 2, Porcupine. If you're going to have a secondary build, you need to have a commander that has Porcupine. That goes without saying. 12% increase to the range. Well, we're talking 10.8 here. Just doing a little bit of math. If it was just a straight 10% boost on Porcupine, we'd be over the range of the Bismarck, okay? So I think we're going to have longer range on this thing if we ever get the proper option for the commander build. And then the other things Porcupine does, grouping, 15% boost, and dispersion, 18%. So accuracy goes way up. That's not available here. Dewey de Janeiro does not have Porcupine. He's just a Dewey commander. And Dewey commanders generally don't do very well on battleships, in my opinion. The other thing we're missing out of course, is slot 4. Properly meticulous. I don't normally know the name of this perk, but I call it the secondary module or whatever, consumable enhancer. I have always flubbed the delivery of what I'm trying to communicate with this one. But this thing is very strong too. Now that consumable, which you can see we have 4 of them in this thing, what it does, I think it speeds up the reload, I want to say, but it certainly enhances the accuracy big time. Okay, we've demonstrated it on this channel and the companion channel, Bull Bites, which you can find in the description if you've never come across that one. It's shorter clips covering the same topics though. But those, if you activate it, the secondaries will go from a wide spray that's kind of going all over the place to a nice focused golden shower that you can really focus on the enemy and just splash them, nailing them with damage. Okay, now the properly meticulous slot 4 perk, you got to give up the extra heals. That's why most people that don't like that option, I usually argue or at least assume that they haven't actually tried it because they're so dedicated to the heals. But the heals are, it's asking a lot to give them up. I understand that, but here with this properly meticulous, we're enhancing the secondary battery reload in general by 15%. That's always. And then during the consumable goes up, or the duration goes up by 35%. So it becomes much more powerful overall. So I always advocate for that one. I think if you guys actually try it out and experiment with it, you tend to agree with me. But nevertheless, even if you don't use that, not having Porcupine, a major drawback. Okay, so until we get the option to spec it out properly, in my opinion, we can't know the full power of these secondaries. But I will tell you this, when they're rocking, and I think we get 10 of these guns overall, if I recall, they are quite powerful, as we'll see. Keep an eye on these damage values again. So And that's the disappointing part here for me. That it's kind of a theme with the development of this game where they kind of put stuff out before it's really ready. Think Italian cruisers. They certainly didn't have SAP. I don't even think they had rolling smoke when they launched. But they're like, here's a new line. Check it out. Maybe we'll fix it in a year or two. Eventually they did, and eventually it became a cool line. But, at the same time, just do it right. Anything worth doing is worth doing right. Same thing with this. Well, if you're going to put out a secondary focus ship, give me the tools to make it be a secondary focus ship to the fullest of its potential. So that's the main knock on this thing as I see it. Overall, though, I do think it's a pretty good ship that I think secondary battleship brawlers will enjoy. Just know going into it that you're kind of like, we'll see when the ship is fully available. But in my opinion, it's kind of half-baked and incomplete at the moment. All right, so that's my thoughts on the Atlantico and the availability of the build is what I'm trying to say. But it is what it is. All right, so other than that, you got pretty good main battery. You got 5 turrets, 2 guns per 381, so not huge caliber. But if you'll notice on the diagram, if you've been seeing my firing angles, good steep firing angles. The armor on this isn't super impressive. You can get whacked through the nose, certainly, but it's not bad overall. Facing higher tiers, it becomes to be a little bit of a problem durability-wise, so that is what it is. Maneuverability, I think the speed, I think the turn circle, I want to say off the top of my head, I didn't write it down, 800. But good maneuverability. Not the best, but certainly not the worst by any means. Doesn't feel clunky, and you guys know that I like a good nimble battleship that can make some turns and get the guns on, and perform from that aspect. And you can see here, we've also been showing that the AA, not bad at all. It's not the best of the best, but it certainly can shoot down some planes, especially if they decide to focus you like they're doing here. So overall, I think the Atlantico is a ship that has a lot of potential. And even with the Dewey de Janeiro, I don't think it's horrible, but it's not fully capable yet. It's not fully ready, in my opinion. Maybe you guys, if you got the ship, you let me know if you disagree. Maybe you're not having any issues with it. And I'm not saying you can't have some good performances with the secondaries or with the ship in general, but it's like knowing that it's got more potential in the bank. It just isn't quite there yet. Just feels a little bit rushed, in my opinion. So I don't know. I think the Atlanticos have been enjoyable. The games this week have been mind-numbing at best. Oh, we did get a clear skies in this one. So we're able to shoot down some planes with this thing for sure. But yeah, reviewing this, the Schleifen and the Cano has been a little bit challenging, but we will get the reviews out for you guys, so stay tuned for them. If you're new to the channel, of course, you're going to want to be subscribed because we will keep the coverage coming. And we're going to be checking out old favorites like the Colbert and some of the other ships that got tweaked with the gameplay changes. So you guys let me know what you think about the Atlantico in the comments. Did you get it? Do you like the name Dewey de Janeiro? How does that rank in the pantheon of Dewey names? I think it's pretty good, and that's what I'm mainly focused on here. So that's going to do it for that one, guys. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, please hit the thumbs up. New to the channel, consider subscribing. Lots of World of Warships coming all the time. Questions, comments, leave them below. Love to hear from you guys, and we'll see y'all later. All right, peace.